Hello, this is Tim doing the Readathon Read-o-rama. My wife is doing it, and a bunch of her friends are doing it, and it sounded like something fun that could be pretty interesting, give me a chance to read a lot of different stuff. There's a few different rules, actually a lot of different rules. You have to read 7 books, which I'm not doing, but I'm getting really close. I have 6. And the rules say you can use graphic novels, so I have a couple of those. But I read a lot of different stuff, so. The first thing on the list is to read a book with Rama in the title or author. And for that, I am reading I Am Legend. It's a book that I've always wanted to read. My wife just picked it up the other day, so I felt like it was a good excuse to read it. The next one is a book with music in it. So for that, this is the only book that I'm reading for this that I've read before. It's my favorite author. It's Fluke, or I Know Why the Winged Whale Sings. It's Christopher Moore. I read it like 6 or 7 years ago, so it's been a long time. And the book has to do with like whale songs, so I thought that's music, so I figured I'd go with that. The next one has to be a book that is a movie adaptation, and I have a few that could be that, but for that I chose The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. I've always wanted to read it. I've seen the movie with Humphrey Bogart. It's an excellent movie, so I figured the book has to be pretty good too. So I'm gonna do that one. For the minority challenge, for that I got a little creative. I'm gonna read Full Metal Alchemist, book 1. I've never read this series. I have a lot of friends who are really into it. I read manga, I do watch anime, all that. I try to be as broad as possible with a lot of different things. So I'm going to try that out and see if I get into it. And if I do, I'll start buying the rest. The next one is a book with a one-word title. And for that, I am reading Black Cross, which is something that I got out of the comic bento box, which is, I don't know if people have seen it, but it's a pretty cool like monthly subscription program that you can do, and it gets you a bunch of graphic novels that you might have never bought before. So this looks like a pretty interesting read. I haven't read it yet, so thought it'd be a pretty cool deal to do there. And then for a book of short stories, which I didn't realize this, but this book is actually a book of short stories. It's called The Folk of the Fringe. It's by Orson Scott Card, and it's basically a collection of short stories that were put into a book that are all written by Orson Scott Card, but they showed up in different instances throughout his career and then were put into a book. I think only one of the short stories in this was actually written for this. Now, I read a lot of sci-fi, fantasy, and I read. My wife thinks I tend to read a lot of like the post-apocalyptic, dystopian novels. And it's not that that's specifically something that I like to read, but it's just a lot of titles anymore kind of fall into that genre. Now it's a really popular genre, and the stories are good. I've never read an Orson Scott Card book. I know it's not Ender's Game, which is like one of his big stories. But it sounded like an interesting read. I picked it up, at a local store for like a couple dollars, and it sounds pretty cool. It's about a nuclear fallout in America, which, I've read a lot of different books like that. I've read The Man in High Castle by Philip K. Dick, so I'm excited to kind of check that out and see how it goes. The only thing that I'm not doing here is a buddy read, mainly because the only person I could do a buddy read with is my wife right now, that I know on YouTube, and she's kind of already doing like 2. So, and we don't have a huge amount of crossover, interest. So for right now, I'm going to leave that one out, but hopefully I make some friends out there, and the next time we have one, I can do that too. So really excited to get this started. I think it starts on the 13th, tomorrow, or today, depending on when I post this video. Here goes. I think I should be able to do this, but it's going to be a lot. So see you when I'm done.